Hello viewers, welcome to your favorite program, the Oshidi's Disability Africa Show. I'm your host Maureen Kaveke. On the show today we have an amazing, beautiful lady by the name Julia Shiro. Before I ask her to say hello to us, allow me to ask Mr. Martin Kilavi to say hello to us.
Thank you, Maureen, for having us once again in this show. And to our viewers, thank you so much for the support that you've given us so far. Thank you for watching these shows. And remember that in Oshidi's Disability Africa, we are implementing the multi-annual program plan, which is anchored on inclusive education, which is anchored on health and rehabilitation, social inclusion, livelihood and empowerment. We are implementing this to foster inclusivity and to also offer opportunities for children and youth with disabilities, especially intellectual or the hidden disabilities, for them to have an opportunity to gain skills, to access education, to access employment for livelihood, and we want to foster them to thrive and live a full life. Yeah, that's the reason we founded this organization, and that is our core mandate. We are changing lives.
Thank you, Maureen and Martin, for having me here. I'm very grateful and a great work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Keep going, keep going. We need this and many more of this.
Thank you.
So my name is Julia Mweri, married to Dennis Maina. I'm a mother of 3 children, 16-year-old, 5-year-old, and 3-year-old.
Wow. Last time we actually had a conversation with you in regards to Sandra's life.
Yes.
And viewers have called and said that you've done an amazing job and they would like to know how you've managed
Congratulations.
to do that. And that's how we had to call you back, and thank you for really coming through for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the viewer is interested in knowing how you've been able to take Sandra through life.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you again for having me, and even for the viewers that viewed Sandra's show.
Yes.
I really hope you are inspired, because she's truly an inspiration.
Yes,
Sure.
yes,
So,
indeed.
It's been an amazing journey, like I said during the other show. It's been 2 seasons of raising Sandra, because from 0 to 9 years it was just raising a typical child. Then now from 9 years to now, it is raising a child with special needs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Physically challenged. Along the road, she also acquired some learning difficulties. So it's been a journey of discovering, changing the school curriculums and systems, changing schools, changing therapists.
Yes.
It's been a whole new world.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes even having to think, when we're invited to an event,
Yes.
how are we going to get there? As simple as that. So there's the major part of which school is she gonna go to, and which curriculum is she going to engage with that really actually she will learn, to as simple as, oh, can you come to our wedding? And I'm like, okay, where is the wedding going to be at? How do we get there? How is she going to sit? Where is she going to sit? So as simple things as that. It's been an interesting road of discovery. Yeah.
So how did you yourself take this new responsibility? Rather, you and your family, your husband and the other children.
Yeah. Thank you for that question. It wasn't really an event that, now we are taking on this challenge. No.
You had not planned.
In a process.
Never planned.
There's no planning.
It was no planning.
It just happened.
You learn as you move. So you don't go to a school and you're taught this is how to raise a child with special needs who is physically challenged. No. You take her to a normal school, a typical school with her learning difficulties. While at it is when you discover, we are losing this child. And so at that moment we had to have a discussion. My husband and I had to have a discussion. Okay, this is not working for her. Why was it not working for her first? She was born left-handed. She had to learn how to write with her right hand, which was a challenge for her. She had progressed through to the upper primary. The our Kenyan curriculum is very heavy in the upper primary classes. The note taking, the exams, it was too much for her. And it's not that she wasn't learning, it's just that she needed a period to be given some time to actually learn. Because remember, the brain had been asleep for quite some time, and she had been out of school for a period of time. So at that moment is when we discovered we are losing this child. And the child that we knew was an A student before the accident. So we are losing this child. She would panic just before exams. She would fall sick because constantly the system was setting her up for failure. And that's not who she is. So at that moment, see, no one taught me. At that moment is when we had to discuss and say, okay, we need to transition this child to a curriculum that she's able to self-pace herself and learn at her pace. And that's what we did. So we transitioned to a new curriculum. We also now that meant that we now had to also move schools. That meant because previously she was in a therapy center, and now we had a therapist coming home. We also needed to transition from physical therapy because she was able to walk to occupational therapy. So that she's able to do stuff for herself. So you never really know when to do what. It is along the journey
that you learn.
Yeah,
because many people think actually that parents who have special kids have a manual somewhere. That's why it was very important for me to ask you that particular question. That it doesn't come with a manual.
No, it doesn't.
You learn on the way.
And I also want to ask Maureen. She keeps on talking about changing curriculum, transitioning. So you are transitioning to which curriculum? Because there's a parent watching, and we are asking ourselves, which is this curriculum that can accommodate our children?
Okay. For us, what worked at that moment is a curriculum that would allow her to learn at her own pace. So this curriculum, she is able to learn at her own pace and is not exam-based.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not exam-based. You know, if you have a child that has a learning difficulty and then you put them to sit an exam, already they are coming from a place where they are not like the typical child, for lack of a better word. So they are competing with typical children who are okay. They are learning. I mean, there are even others who are fast learners and quick learners. So this is a child that has learning difficulty, sitting the same exam like the other children. What that does for most of them is that it sets them up for failure. Because they are not competing at the same standard.
That's right.
And when you constantly set up a child for failure,
they indeed will fail.
They will fail, and they will believe that they are failures. And that's not
when they are not.
true.
And actually, one of the biggest hurdles for children with special needs is education. Most of the parents ask us, where do we take them? After this, where do we go?
In fact, I say that by the time we were discussing with my husband that we take her back to the school that she had been, was because we had knocked on many doors and had been rejected. Because at that moment when we were now transitioning from exclusive physical therapy to now incorporate school, we needed her to be in a classroom setup. So we knocked on many doors, and our hope was that where she was getting physical therapy is near to where she would go to school, so that when we drop her at physical therapy center, they can perhaps drop her to school, or we drop her to school and then the therapist would probably come to where she is. And we knocked on many doors, and they said no, we can't accommodate. Of course, at that moment there's ignorance. Thank God for this show, because this is creating awareness.
Thank you.
At that moment there is lack of knowledge. They don't know. They are saying no from a point of ignorance, because even they don't know what to do with this child. So you can't blame them. So I'm grateful for such shows, and even what the government is doing on raising awareness. But really, that's the pain of a parent. And dare I say here that children with disability adapt. Let me tell you, the person who struggles the most
is a caregiver.
Is the caregiver, the parent.
Shiro, I'm tempted to ask you this. Sorry for cutting you.
Ask away.
Initially, you had a typical child.
Yes.
With your husband.
Yes.
And you were used to raising a typical child. Your daughter acquired disability through by an accident, which changed her forever, and now she's disabled, right?
Yeah.
You must be very strong parents. Where did you get this strength from? How did it change your lives? So I like the fact that you're saying that it's not something that you had planned. So it hit you. When it hit you, how did you take it? How did it change your life?
I thank God that both of us, we were raised we were born and brought up in godly families. So I can only say it was by the grace of God that we have made it. And it may sound cliche. I may sit here and say it's by the grace of God. Yeah. And it may sound cliche because that's what Christian is.
Yes.
Oh, I made it because of by the grace of God. No. I tell you, I kid you not, it has only taken the hand of God for us to get here. How this journey has impacted me, of course I experienced love from people who I didn't even know that, you know, the people who you dismiss and think, these ones don't care.
Yes.
But I experienced love from people, and that's when God says, when the word of God says that God is love, I experienced God through people. Because during that period, we had high hospital bills to pay.
Yeah, I could imagine that.
Therapy is not cheap.
It's not.
That's one of the struggles that parents have.
Yes.
Therapy is very expensive. And even where you take your child, the schools for special needs children are very expensive. Caregiving is not cheap. I had to leave my bank job to become 100% caregiver to my child.
Yes.
So, but the love that I experienced from people is amazing. So it is God in form of man being made manifest in our lives as a family that we've been able to walk this journey. Because if God did not send people, I don't even know where we would be. I thank God for family. I thank God for my parents. I thank God for my parents-in-law. They have been amazing. I thank God for the church. I thank God for my friends, my neighbors. I'm just so grateful. Sometimes children would just come to our house to hang out with Sandra, you know, and they would
support system.
They would gang up from our estate. We have been in that house for so long. I mean, children will just come and say, "Hi, Mama Sandra, we just came to hang out with Sandra," and would put a movie and they sit and watch a movie, and she would feel, "Oh, I'm loved." So, how have we made it? God, through people.
Yes, and I must say that you're really, truly blessed because in our previous shows, Martin, we've encountered the opposite of what you've just said. For other people, it is a lot of discrimination.
Yes.
You know, others are being abandoned. You know, what else can I say? Rejection. And many parents have come to these shows and cried their hearts out, saying, you know what, there was no one to lean on. There's no one to help us with this and that. So I think also people should be sensitized on this.
So, Mama Sandra,
Yes.
I know that you have other children. Sandra is the firstborn.
Yes.
Then you have 2 more children.
Yes.
And they don't know her as a typical child. What is their relationship?
Thank you for that question. They are great friends. Sandra is an amazing big sister to her siblings. I don't even know how she does it, by the way. You know, Sandra desires to be independent. She desires to do the things that other children do.
Yes.
So her brother is one who follows her many years. The huge difference. I got Sandra when I was in campus, and Nathaniel, second born, is 5 now. So there's a huge difference between the two of them.
Yes.
So she is able to, you know, take up the big sister role. Yes.
Amazing.
She's more friends with her brother than with her little sister, because her little sister is a bit, she can be something. She can be quite something. But they relate well. The small sister will pick up the walking cane for the big sister. You know, the brother will help her out. just somehow when we are in church, for example, they go to different classes. So when I pick them up, when I pick the younger ones from Sunday school, they will always go and pick their sister from her youth sanctuary and bring her to the car.
Okay.
Yeah, so they have an amazing relationship. They don't know in a different way.
Yes.
We've never had that discussion. I mean, these are 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. Probably will have that discussion when they're older, when they can understand what happened to their sister.
Yes.
But they've been able to relate as siblings. Like I said, the two sisters, there's just that sibling rivalry that is real. But it's not too pronounced. It's just that all of their girls, each of them trying to seek attention.
To seek attention, which is normal.
Which is normal.
And which is okay again.
Yeah,
they're just being themselves.
Going by the kind of parents that we met in these shows, most of them, if not all, have always talked about the many challenges that they undergo as parents or caregivers, bringing up children with special needs. How has it been for you? What is that challenge, or those challenges that you can point out and say, this one is tough?
Of course, it's a different journey, and I wouldn't want to underwater anybody who's gone through whatever experience they've gone through.
Yes.
I think the challenges that I can pinpoint at the moment, one was to find a school to settle. That was a serious challenge. It is so hard when you walk into a school, you want a position for your child, and the very school says no, we can't. And it's not your fault. It's not the child's fault. And I said, they probably said that because it was from a point of ignorance. They don't know. They actually do not know what to do. So thank God for this show. The other thing was the challenge of fitting in with my child, finding it difficult to fit in with her friends. See, she walks slower than the rest of her friends. So having to deal with her self-esteem, because she's feeling left out, she wants to stay in the house longer rather than going outside to play with her friends like she used to. So having to speak into her and taking that time to speak into her, tell her, no, you're okay. Whoever wants to work with you will work with you. Who doesn't, it's okay. They don't understand, and you can't blame them. They don't know. The other challenge, the greatest of all, was therapy. Finding the right people for therapy, and even just the cost around it. Therapy is very expensive. That was, in fact, the reason why I had to leave work was so that I could compensate. Like I had to learn how to be a therapist so that I can do it. Because therapy is expensive. And some also, remember, she's a girl, she's growing. At one instance, we had one of the therapists take advantage of her and wanting,
Oh no.
What?
And
it was sad. It was very sad. It was very
I
sad.
hope you dealt with it.
Yes, we did. So it wasn't okay. I don't want to underwater it, like say it was just touching. But you see, that's in coming against her space. That's not right. So those are some of the challenges that we face. The other challenge is socially. Like I said, you have to think, if we have to attend an event, where is that event? See, there are some events we had to say no, we can't go, and that means that socially she's affected. Because how will you walk down that terrain, and how do we get there? So those are some of the challenges we have received. The other challenge, financial strain. It is real. Financial strain is real. Because of the the therapy, hospital visits, medication. She was on some medication for the brain for quite some time. So those are the challenges that I remember for now. But to give hope to a parent who's bringing up a child who has special needs, God somehow comes through. And for those who have been treated badly, we have a friend who's closer than a brother. Who sticks closer than a brother. Our Lord Jesus. He helps, he carries us through this journey. And it's a lonely journey. It can get quite lonely because your child is different. and some parents maybe do not know. I keep saying they do not know how to relate with your child, and they don't even know how to relate with you.
Yes.
So it's more from a place of ignorance than even just wanting to not be friends with you.
Yes.
Yeah. So somehow we've been able to work through those challenges, and we're grateful to God for the family.
You kept on saying about the support that you got from different people, beginning with your family, and we want to thank God. We want to thank God for all those people, and they really showed Christ. Christ was seen through their deeds and through the visitations, and I think that's what we are called for as Christians. That's what we are called for. That is another level of preaching the love of Christ. And so we want to thank God for them. We want to encourage them to continue doing those good deeds, and the rest of us, we need to emulate and learn from that. This is a great testimony. We have had shows before this, and it's been different, Maureen. People come here to cry that they're still left in the cold. Nobody was there for them. Nobody is there for them. But this is amazing to hear this from you. And may God bless the people that came through for you. Bless your family. And keep you and keep the fire burning. Let's preach hope.
Yeah.
Let's preach hope.
Actually, Julia, listening to your story is one of its kind. An amazing, inspirational story.
Yes.
And these are the kind of conversations that we want to have in these shows. Anytime we hear such kind of a positive story, we sleep well. We sleep well as Ocean Disability Africa, because this is what we are preaching, and this is what we've been emphasizing for the people to do. And so we are really delighted. Continue doing the good work you're doing. We met your daughter last week, an amazing, blessed, beautiful young girl. And I hope that your story inspires million others. This time I will not say one person, million others. Yes. To stand up for their families, to stand up for their children who have special needs, and just have the hope that things can only get better. Thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure, and really we are honored to have you, and we've learned a lot from you. And I hope that Martin people have learned a lot.
Absolutely.
Actually, my perception has changed completely.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. So viewers, we've come to the end of our show today. Thank you very much for your time. Remember to always watch our shows every Friday at 10 a.m. on our YouTube channel. Thank you. See you next week with more stories.
Shalom.